as your servants whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in this county and the Republic of Kenya. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those whose interests you committed to our charge. Amen. Orders of the business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I wish to remind you as per our scheduled calendar, the House will adjourn next week on Thursday. So I want to urge all members with any pending motion statements to ensure that we are able to dispense with them within this week and next week so that we are not caught out of time. The same, I think we had communicated to the committee chairs to ensure all the pending committee reports or businesses that were pending that needs the consideration of the entire House within a plenary sitting be brought within this week and next week. The House Business Committee in its meeting today gave its undertaking that as soon as we receive any pending work from a committee or motion, we will schedule it without wasting time. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, papers.
Next order.
Order number
I thought I saw. The clerk, you could go back with the order before the majority leader could stand. That was number 4.
order number 4, papers.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to table the supplementary budget 1 for the financial year 2019-2020.
I acknowledge the tabling of the supplementary budget 1 financial year 2019-2020 by the as forwarded by the CC Finance and Economic Planning and as tabled by the Honorable Majority Leader. The same is with immediate effect assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee for its consideration. The Chair, Budget and Appropriation Committee, remember you have a very strict timeline. Honorable Gideon Koech.
I rise to table the Nandi County Immunization Report, Nandi County Health and Sanitation Committee Report on Nandi County Immunization for financial year 18-19.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mengech.
Yeah. That report had already been tabled.
Yes, I'm just surprised because I'm seeing it is scheduled for motion. So, Clerk, can you confirm? Honorable members, I think there was a miscommunication. What is supposed to be tabled is what has been handed over to majority leader. That I think is the miscommunication. Apology to the honorable member. Honorable majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to table the submission of the third quarter cumulative performance progress report for the period ending 31st March 2019 to financial year 2018-2019. Also, Mr. Speaker, I also rise to table submission of annual cumulative county.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Gideon Koech.
The Honorable Leader of Majority has read a report that he wished to table. And he is talking of also, I wish to table, I think.
Honorable majority leader, you
that
can
is in
table
order
one at
to-
a time. One at a time. So you
Thank you,
first
Mr.
dispense off the first one.
Thank you.
Honorable members, I acknowledge the tabling of third quarter cumulative performance progress report for the period ending 31st March 2019 for the financial year 2018-2019 as submitted by the County Secretary, Dr. Francis K. Sang, and as tabled by the Majority Leader. I therefore wish to direct that each of the sectoral committee be seized upon its segment of the report and present and will be expected to present a report of the same in this particular plenary session. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to table the submission of annual cumulative county performance progress report for the period ending 30th June 2019 for the financial year 2018-2019. Back to table.
I acknowledge the tabling of the annual cumulative county performance progress report for the period ending 30th June 2019, financial year 2018-2019, as forwarded by Dr. Francis K. Sang, the County Secretary, and as tabled by the Majority Leader. As it applies to the previous one, I similarly direct that each of the sectoral committee be seized upon of their respective sector or the departmental performance report and has to come to the floor of this House with a report. Honorable members, I think we should at times give credit where it is due. These cumulative performance reports, we have had a problem with them. And when you are doing the vetting of the county secretary, this was our key demand. And I want to acknowledge that at least he's delivered the two reports within this period of time. Remember, your job is clearly to verify because the performance progress report shows the progress of projects as well as the money expended. Most of the members have been complaining about projects. This report should be able to shed light on the same, and you have to come with that. I therefore want to say that as a House, we now, because we have just done a letter asking for the first quarter, which ended on 31st of October, and they had requested for a bit of time. Before we break for recess, we hope that we would have received the same and table for the individual sectoral committees to consider them. This essentially means each committee has a lot of work to do. We cannot be said to not have work to do as committees because this forms the basis for monitoring and evaluation. At the same time, every time you summon the chief officers and the CCs, what is the basis of your summons? It is on such performance progress report. And I think let's give that credit. The Majority Leader, you will pass our just our acknowledgement of the same, that I sat in that appointment committee. This was our request and we have seen that, and this should be the way to go. So going forward, we don't want any more cumulative progress report. Next order.
Order number 5, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, as the House Business Committee, we schedule tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, to have all cumulative statements to be able to be considered, because there's quite a number with responses. We have furnished the chairs, the different chairs that are supposed to respond to this House with the responses. I want to urge the chairs to take time to study the responses, so that when you come to this House to read to the member who sought the statement, you will be able to be properly appraised on the issues that the member sought. One of the challenges we've been facing is that a chair has not gone through the response, so that the members end up roasting you for responses you hadn't gone through. At least if you need any confirmation as to what has been given as a response, you will have time. So I've directed at all the chairs to be given the copies of the responses before you come to the floor of the House tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you get all the answers from the department. When you come here before the House, if you are asked a question about the response, you can properly answer them. The challenge is always the chair will always disown the statement and say, I didn't, I just got it from the department. I may not agree with it. Please sort it out before you bring it to the floor of the House. Honorable Fred.
Yangu ni ningependa kupata habari kuhusu maslahi yetu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwako hapo awali tulikuwa tunaenda kwa ofisi pale tunapata machungwa nini, hata maji sasa hii imekuwa.
Honorable Fred, you are out of order. You are completely out of order, Honorable Fred. Completely out of order. That cannot be raised on the plenary. It's a legitimate issue, but in the wrong forum, in the wrong format. Honorable Kevolwe, please be seized yourself about the matter. You are the welfare chair. You cannot allow a member to come embarrass himself on the plenary. Honorable Kevolwe, it is on you. Kindly follow up with the honorable member. Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
Dr. Sanga. Vice Chair, Health and Sanitation. You have the Vice Chair? Honorable Gideon, are you the Vice Chair of the committee?
I am not the Vice Chair.
So, where is the Vice Chair? Because
I rise to seek that the said motion be deferred. The Chair just notified me a few minutes ago that he's running
Point of
late.
order, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mengage.
Yeah.
Honorable
The
Gideon,
chair
take a
of
seat.
implementation,
Take a seat,
who
Honorable
should
Gideon.
sit down, Honorable Speaker. who
Proceed,
sits-
Honorable Mengage.
Who sits in the speaker's panel is aware of the procedure. The Honorable Member Chepkunyuk, who is the chair for health, should have by now written a letter to tell us where he is. So that motion, that report is dead.
Honorable,
Mr. Speaker, I have not completed what
yes, I
was
think
rising
Honorable
on.
Gideon was still
He is-
speaking.
he is
Proceed.
Pulling the cart before the horse or something like that. Mr. Speaker, I know the procedure. For me to move this particular motion, I must have a written notification. But I just rose to seek that this be deferred. As an honorable member and an active member of Health and Sanitation Committee, so that to allow the committee to put itself in order to be able to deliver this important report. We just came from an M&E exercise, Mr. Speaker. So that is the point I wanted to make, Mr. Speaker. Very good.
Fair enough, Honorable Gideon. Now that the chair,
Hoja-
Fred, I don't think you are the Vice Chair of the committee.
Hoja habari, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred.
Ningependa kupata habari kama clerk wa hiyo kamati amekuwa, kwa sababu yeye ndiye angeambia kiranja wao kwamba kuna habari inaletwa hapa, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima kila kasi yake ni hiyo. Sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, pengine Mheshimiwa Kiranja alikuwa na hesabu ya kuangusha hiyo habari, Mheshimiwa Spika, na Mheshimiwa hapa amesema kwa sababu wote wako, Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kupata habari kwako kama sheria inaruhusu hivyo, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred, I personally directed it as a chair and said, every time we'll be scheduling business, a chair or a move of a motion will always have to be notified. And we've been implementing. As late as today at 12, when the House Business Committee was sitting and considering the business, the same was notified. This matter came up last week. We scheduled last week. The chair is aware. A communication was given to Dr. Sanga. So that said and done, I think the motion will stand deferred and be allocated afresh by the House Business Committee. Next, order.
Order number 9, motion.
Honorable Mengech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to move motion on compliance of National Treasury Circular on payment of pending bills. Honorable Speaker, aware that the Constitution of Kenya of 2010 and the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 and Public Finance Management Regulations of 2015 that sets out the framework for planning and managing of fiscal affairs of the county. Further aware that the Nandi County government has failed to make payments to its debtors. Further considering the numerous engagements and circulars issued with the county.
Inquiry, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Gideon.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to inquire before the mover of this motion proceed on the circular being talked about in this particular motion. Whether we have such a circular in this that has been addressed to this house, or rather formally before this house, so that we can discuss based on a circular, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Gideon, I can confirm I'm aware of a circular that we were copied to. We have two, not circulars. We got two communication. One of them is a circular, one is a letter addressed to the governor and copied to the speaker, touching on the pending bills. As there was one on pending bills and the second one on the second one touching on the budget allocation for 2019-2020. Those two, they were copied to the county assembly, but through the speaker. So this other circular that this motion speaks about was published, I think was published and shared to the counties through the Council of Governors and the individual governors and the county government. So what I think you are asking is legitimate to the point that the House also will have to be furnished with the same circular. Honorable Gideon.
Inquiry, Honorable Speaker.
Let Honorable Gideon finish because he was on the floor.
Due to your direction, Honorable Speaker,
Yeah.
I wish to also inquire whether it would be in order to discuss a circular based on a document that is not yet properly submitted to this house or even delivered to the assembly. Mr. Speaker, would you give guidance as to what procedure should be followed for us to discuss? Indeed, I know it's a weighty matter, but what should be the procedure that should be followed?
Honorable Gideon, because I've just been going through the letter, but before I can address that, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I thought I saw you standing on a point of order. Do you feel he has raised the issues you wanted to raise?
Honorable Speaker, I think what I was to raise is what Gideon has said, because I thought that this one, the letter supersedes the debate in the motion, because it will not be value for us to be discussing things that is direct. If you have directive, why should we discuss which is something which is directed by the president that they need to be paid? So do you think that this is a waste of matter or a waste of time, Honorable Speaker? Because this has been superseded by events.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, thank you for that. I can just be able to address the issues raised. I was trying to look at the letter of the motion. And I think that's what members, you didn't allow the move of the motion to look at it. I was looking at the resolutions the honorable member was seeking vis-a-vis the circular and all that. One, it is, I think, in public domain about the 15 counties told that by 1st December, if there will be no payment of pending bills, none of us will access our county revenue fund. And in this case, I hope you know it affects also the county assembly. So I was trying to make a decision, or as Honorable Gideon has sought my direction, I would want to attract you to, or I would like to refer you to the resolution, to the resolve that the member seeks the House to consider. And if you look at the resolutions, for example, number 1, that the CEC to constitute a pending bills committee. Number 2, the CEC to share with the county assembly the pending bills payment plan. Number 3, the CEC to make public the exact amount of money available for payment. Number 4, that the CEC, together with the chief officer, to personally appear before the Committee of the General Oversight as contemplated under Article 187A on 3rd December 2019 to shed light on all the matters. I think the Honorable Member, if I'm able to look at what the Honorable Member seeks, the Honorable Member is seeking the Assembly to ask for solutions, not to censor. There is no censorship. That is number 1. Number 2, it does not discuss the details of, it does not discuss the details about the circular. In fact, the County Assembly is seeking information. Like, can the CC give us a plan? What is the plan out of this? And I think this one was more or less like a motion of intent. Push the CC to come to us and tell us what do we do about, because we seem not to have a solution. The County Assembly has not proposed a solution. We cannot propose a solution unless we know. The last time I checked, the Assembly adopted a report in 2018. That was the last of it. And since then, it is up to the county executive. So it is up to the CC Finance to come back to the Assembly and tell the Assembly, how do we proceed with that? So, Honorable Gideon, based on that, the asking for the circular would be very legitimate, but my direction would be, we can ask the same be furnished before this House for your consideration, because the content of the circular helps shapes your opinion and your ideas. Because what does the circular entail? All of us have only read it mostly in the media, in the social media, about counties being denied. But what exactly are we being denied? Is it the development money? Is it the recurrent expenditure? Like today, I've just had a meeting with the finance team, and we are preparing for the worst, because the circular was just a blanket circular. It says we cannot access our CRF account. CRF account has everything, including recurrent. Does it mean after 1st December, we will not be able to pay salaries? That's a very legitimate question, because it has not clearly, we are not so sure about that. And I think the House should also be able to see that circular to discuss such. Does it mean it's plus development and recurrent, or is it just development? So does it mean Nandi County as a whole from 1st December, we cannot pay anything, including yourself? So the circular needs to also be on the floor of the House. Can I indulge the move of the motion to give a comment on that asking by a member regarding the circular?
Maybe another. Maybe another.
You've not stated what you're standing on a point of.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. First of all, those circulars must first of all be submitted so that the motion can be debated. So, because that is what gives the motion the flesh. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I don't know why we should discuss a motion of something the government has given orders. Mr. Speaker, Ikuru Yatani has ordered all the counties that they pay the pending bills before going for any further development. So this motion, I don't know why it should be.
Honorable Majority Leader, I hope you're not discussing the content of the motion. You cannot, because we have not moved the motion.
I'm informing, Mr. Speaker.
No, but you cannot inform into the content of the motion. It was purely on the issue of information, because Honorable Gideon has sought information.
It is about why should this motion first of all come in, Mr. Speaker.
Not at all. Those are the merits of the motion. You will discuss once it is moved. Honorable Fred. Honorable Fred. Honorable Fred.
Hoja habari Mheshimiwa Spika. Ningependa kupata habari. Hoja namba 9 inasema muswada. Kwa kiluka ya mambo Mheshimiwa, nikisoma kwa kimombo Mheshimiwa Spika, inasema in compliance of the National Treasury circular of the payment of the pending bills. Mheshimiwa Spika, unajua wewe umesema hii ni habari hapa. Na tayari muswada inasema wasiage Mheshimiwa Spika, na kipengele namba 9 inasema Mheshimiwa Spika, yale yote Mheshimiwa anakuruhusiwa kuongea juu yake, lazima athibitishe na atuoneshe. Hiyo habari ijafika bungeni Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaongea nini Mheshimiwa Spika? Kipengele inatukatasha. Kipengele namba 9 inasema kama hakuna Mheshimiwa Spika, sheria haitaturuhusu tuongee juu yake. Mheshimiwa Spika, wewe umeongea, umesema hii ni habari ya bunge Mheshimiwa Spika. Ukiangalia maandishi ya mswada Mheshimiwa Spika, inasema wazi ni habari yale imeongezwa. Sisi ni wanasiasa Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi naweza sema kutoka leo watu wauzi sokoni kabisa. Kwani hiyo itakuwa sheria Mheshimiwa Spika?
So I think it is still the comment that Honorable Gideon raised. Honorable Terry, you wanted to comment purely on that issue about the circular. So it's a fair comment that I'm allowing, but not on the content of the motion. Honorable Terry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to inform this House that this is a very timely motion, considering the fact that Nandi County was listed among the counties who have not complied in the payment of pending bills. And the prayer from Honorable Mengech, considering all the 4 points that he has said, is also being responsible, because as an oversight authority or body, we need to know why we are listed. And yet we discussed the issue of pending bills. We even had a report here that we made recommendations.
Honorable Terry, you are now contributing to the motion. That is exactly what I stopped the majority leader from saying. Honorable Mengech, a right of reply about the document, just that.
Honorable Speaker, with your discretion, number one, the CS Treasury has not denied that document, even though the document has not come with the County Assembly. He has not denied the document being shared through various media came from his office. Number two, Honorable Speaker, 1st December is hardly a week away. It would be responsible for this County Assembly to bury its head in the sand and say that now that the circular has not come, the physical document has not come, it would not allow us to discuss the issue of pending bills, Honorable Speaker. On 22nd August, Honorable Speaker, I sought a statement. The background, I sought a statement to the Department of Finance on pending bills, Honorable Speaker. Maybe honorable members have forgotten. One of the questions I sought was, why was the report on special audit on pending bills not been made public? The other question was, what is a strategy plan to pay all the pending bills, Honorable Speaker? It would be responsible for the County Assembly to bury its head in the sand in the name of protecting some individuals, the same individuals who have brought us to this situation, Honorable Speaker. I would beg that you allow the motion to proceed so that we protect ourselves.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gideon.
Mr. Speaker, I've heard the comments by my good friend, neighbor here, to the effect that the discussion we are having here, his insinuation is the fact that we are protecting some individuals. Mr. Speaker, I think you need to rule on that, because my inquiry was clearly not based even on the contents of the motion, but a matter of procedure, Mr. Speaker. So is the honorable member, in order to insinuate that myself and the rest who have shared the comments I made are in defense of compliance of the same issue, Honorable Speaker?
Honorable Mengech, could you be able to address yourself to that query? Have you by any chance made an insinuation about people's perception and support?
Never, Honorable Speaker. Not in my statements. I said, Honorable Speaker, it is responsible for this County Assembly to protect the interests of the members, to protect the interests of the people working for county government, to protect the interests of those people who do business with the county government by discussing this motion, Honorable Speaker. As much as I've said, Honorable Speaker, as much as the physical document has not reached the County Assembly, all of us here, Honorable Speaker, have seen. And I've said the CS himself has not denied that document came from his office. What does that mean? It means that document is legit. So, Honorable Speaker, it's upon your chair to allow this motion to proceed.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Standing order number 91A. A member shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts which the member alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. Part 2, Mr. Speaker, if a member has sufficient reason to convince the Speaker that the member is unable to substantiate the allegations instantly, the Speaker shall require such a member substantiates the allegations not later than the next sitting day, failure to which the member shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 111, the grave disorder in the County Assembly, unless the member withdraws the allegation and gives a suitable apology, if the Speaker so requires, Mr. Speaker. I think exercise your powers, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker. Whatever the
Honorable,
leader of majority is
Honorable
reading.
Mengech, I hadn't given you the chance. You wait, I give you the chance for you to speak. Proceed, Honorable Mengech.
Whatever standing order, the Honorable
Hoja ni damu,
member.
Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred.
Kipengele namba 82, Mheshimiwa Spika, inasema wazi wakati mheshimiwa yote anasimama kwa hoja ni damu, lazima atache kipengele, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Enough, Honorable Fred. Honorable Mengech, proceed.
Whatever standing order the Honorable member for Kaptumo is reading, Honorable Speaker, does not apply in this case. I don't think I've made any speculations in the House, Honorable Speaker. I've not.
It applies, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Majority Leader, I have not given you the chance.
Inquiry, Honorable Speaker.
I'm consulting Honorable Cynthia. Make your point of inquiry as I consult, because I need to make a ruling on how to proceed on this.
Honorable Speaker, I want to inquire from this Honorable House, Honorable Speaker. From my shallow knowledge, Honorable Speaker, by the time a motion has the signature from the office to get to this House, Honorable Speaker, it means it has met the minimum threshold of being a substantive motion in this House, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, unless you're trying to say that your office did not do enough in ensuring that this motion is eligible to be in this House, I think the motion should proceed, Honorable Speaker, so that we can give our vote, whether we reject or we accept it, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, please give guidance for purposes of time.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mengech, you are the last to speak because I need to give a ruling on the same.
Point of information with the County Assembly, Honorable Speaker. Standing order 49, 2A, gives the discretion to the Speaker. A motion to resign the decision on such a question may be moved with the permission of the Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, it's upon your chair to make a decision based on the Standing Order 49.
Honorable members, take a seat.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Majority Leader, what is it?
It's also our prayer you also consider the other one, Mr. Speaker.
Hoja habari, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred, what is it?
Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kupata habari kwako kuhusu kipengele namba 90, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, kipengele namba 90 inamaliza kila kitu, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa mwenye ameleta mswada yeye mwenyewe atatupatia habari ya kwamba yale mambo ilitangazwa kule serikali ya juu imetufikia bungeni. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunataka hiyo maandishi ya serikali ya juu umetupatia hapa ili mruhusu yeye aendelee na mswada. Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable members, you've given your submissions. I need to give my peace of mind about the same. Honorable members, this particular motion, the heading of the motion compared to the content of the motion, there seem to be disparity in one thing. I just need to pick on one issue. Number one, the heading talks about compliance of National Treasury Circular on payments of pending bills. Inside the document, there's been referral to pieces of legislation. Number one, Constitution of Kenya 2010. Number two, PFM Act 2012. Number three, PFM Regulations 2015, which talked about management of fiscal affairs. Further than that, I think the move of the motion also referred to the County Assembly on 12th April 2018, conducted an independent audit and subsequently approved a report. Number four, there's also a referral to a list that the county government is obligated to settle bills arising from works and or services rendered to it, considering that Nandi County has appeared in the list of counties with zero effort to pay pending bills. So this is a list, referring to a list. That is the fifth thing it refers to. Finally, you talked about the county failing and ignoring an advisory, which is another communication. Advisory dated 18th June 2019 from the IBEC, that is Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council. That was dated 18th June 2019. Lastly, it refers to, I think, Section 97 of the Public Finance Management Act. Now, honorable members, the Honorable Majority Leader has referred to us and supported by Honorable Fred on Standing Order number 90, requiring that if a member shall be responsible for accuracy of any facts which the member alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. Secondly, if the member is not has not given sufficient reason to convince the speaker, that person may be given a chance. So that means a member first must make a statement of fact, and another member can ask for the statement of fact to be substantiated. Now, when it comes to this motion, there has been reference to pieces of legislation. It has refers to a letter. It has made a reference to an advisory. It has made reference to the circular. Now, this particular motion cannot be discussed, cannot be debated until and when it is moved on the floor of the House. So it has to be moved. Then, on the basis of it, members can say for us to continue, or I will make my submission and have reservations about the motions, or I may not make better judgment on the motion because, for example, I need to see the circular. Now, I can confirm, and which we've, I think, consulted with the clerks, I can confirm that this was a letter addressed to the county government. In this case, it was addressed to the governor in person. Now, the same has not been addressed to the county assembly. If it is addressed directly to the county assembly, it will require that it must be tabled for it to be considered. However, you can make reference to it. If you make reference to it, another member can ask for the same to be furnished to the floor of the House. For all that to happen, the same can only come in the format of moving of the motion. So for us to be able to consider the request, which is valid by Honorable Gideon, that he would love to be furnished or to have a look at the same, we must allow the move of the motion first to move the motion. And it can also be the basis of the motion being defeated, because part of the reasons why a motion is defeated is, for example, not enough evidence is given. The same threshold cannot apply for reports, because when you table a report, that is different. There's no tabling of a report here at this point. It's merely a motion. And that's one of the ways in which assembly can conduct. So I would want to allow first the move of the motion to move the motion. Number two, after the motion has moved and possibly get a seconder, then any other member, the issues raised touching on the documents or evidence needed can then be brought to the floor of the House. Honorable Mengech. Honorable Fred, take a seat, Honorable Fred, until he moves the motion. Honorable Mengech, proceed. Take a seat, Honorable Fred.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for your wisdom. I'll proceed from where I left. Further, considering the numerous engagements and circulars issued to the county governments to settle the pending bills, appreciating that the County Assembly on 12th April 2018 conducted an independent audit on the county pending bills and subsequently approved report which was forwarded to the executive for implementation. Further appreciating that the county government is obligated to settle bills arising from works and or services rendered to it, considering that Nandi County has appeared in the list. Honorable Speaker, protect me from
Honorable Fred, you are caucusing quite loudly. Proceed, Honorable. Engage.
Considering that Nandi County has appeared in the list of counties with zero effort to pay pending bills, noting that Nandi County has failed and ignored advisory rendered by Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council via the meeting held on 18 June 2019, cognizant that the National Treasury, while exercising the powers under Section 97 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, is due to stop equitable share, revenue, and conditional grants to Nandi County government with effect from 1st December 2019. Further, cognizant that the County Assembly has been allocating and budgeting adequate funds for the county government to fund projects and services this House therefore resolves as follows. Number one, that the County Executive Committee member within the next 7 days constitute pending bills resolution committee, failure to which the County Assembly shall undertake necessary sanctions. Two, that the County Executive Committee member for Finance to share with the County Assembly pending bills payment plan within the next 7 days from the date of adoption of this motion. Three, that the County Executive Committee member for Finance makes public exact amount of money available for payment of all existing pending bills. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, that the County Executive Committee member for Finance, together with the Chief Officer in the same department and the Chief Officer for Finance, to personally appear before the Committee of General Oversight as contemplated under Standing Order 187A on 3rd December 2019 to shed light on all matters relating to payment of pending bills. Honorable Speaker, this County Assembly is aware that last year, Honorable Speaker, around April 18th, Honorable Speaker, the County Assembly approved a report on pending bills. In that report, it was very clear there were legitimate pending bills, illegitimate pending bills, legible pending bills, illegible pending bills, Honorable Speaker. Unfortunately, that report has never been implemented. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this motion. Number one, Honorable Speaker, this motion, the issue of pending bills is not in isolation. The report on pending bills is not in isolation, Honorable Speaker. I should remind the County Assembly that the executive has never honored and respected the County Assembly. Number one, we requested for documents, procurement documents from the Department of Finance. The same documents have never been presented to this County Assembly. Number two, Honorable Speaker, we passed the Nandi County Community Development Bill last year. The same has not been implemented. Number three, the County Assembly passed an ad hoc committee somewhere this year. The same has not been implemented. So the report on pending bills is not in isolation. What has happened to our county, Honorable Speaker? Number one, investor confidence, Honorable Speaker, has been eroded. And this has affected infrastructure, service provision. It has opened floodgates of contractors without capacity. Now that Nandi County is not paying contractors and suppliers, so we have briefcase entrepreneurs taking up contracts. And what is happening? They are not doing the work. Our budget has been reduced to two things: work in progress and pending bills. If you check our budget for the last 2 years, our budget is solely work in progress and pending bills. And if members don't think the pending bill issue has affected our budget, then we need to relook our position as a county assembly. Honorable Speaker, I wish to talk to the executive, the governor and his team and his cabinet, that any government is held in perpetuity. When this government came in, it accepted assets, vehicles, buildings, and so many other things. Now, I don't see the reason why this government again could not accept liabilities. And the first liability is pending bills. Honorable Speaker, in my mother tongue we say, Serikali konir manget. It is in perpetuity. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, I wanted to use an example of Tanzania. Tanzania has been facing serious challenges. Somewhere in August, one of its planes was arrested. Let me use the word arrested in South Africa because it had not paid a debt of $4.1 million. On 23rd November this year, another of its planes was arrested or seized in Canada. What does this mean? On 1st December, Honorable Speaker, our salaries, our allowances, staff salaries, development money, and conditional grants. For the information of this county assembly, the letter from the CS is very clear. It is not only money in the CRA, it also includes conditional grants. When you talk about conditional grants, I'm talking about what Honorable Fred is interested here. Kenya Urban Support Program funding will not be released. I'm talking about NARIC funds for agriculture will not be released. I'm talking about money from World Bank for financing health. It will not be released. Honorable Speaker, as per the audit report of 2017-2018, Nandi County had not settled pending bills amounting to 743,727,329. As per the report, which is due to be tabled in this house when I requested for the issue of special audit report, pending bills amount to, as per 30th June 2018, amount to 633 million and some money is on top of it, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I talk to the county assembly, I want this county assembly to imagine a scenario where the CCM for finance, when asked why the report was not released, this special audit report, he says the report was not conclusive and could have been misleading if adopted alone without corroborative evidence from the task force report. Honorable Speaker, I'm looking at three things. The governor instituted a task force. So it came up with this report. That report was brought to the county assembly. The county assembly did its own report and corroborated what was in the task report. And then a special audit has been commissioned. And this government cannot trust the three bodies. It cannot trust itself, it cannot trust the county assembly, and it cannot trust the Auditor General's office. What are we doing, honorable members? I want to request the chair budget to second me.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Walter, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think Honorable Mengeji is giving me a hard task. And I wish to second the same report, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable members, I therefore wish to propose the question on the motion on compliance of National Treasury cycle on payments of pending bills by Honorable Emmanuel Rono, that the same is now up for debate.
Point of clarification, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Hillary, you are seeking to contribute or raise a query?
Mr. Speaker,
Proceed, the floor is yours.
I wish to seek a point of clarification from the mover of the motion. He's indicated that the government has not honored, has not accepted the liabilities in form of pending bills. Whereas, in the best of my knowledge, Mr. Speaker, the government has indeed accepted. The government has budgeted for the payment of the pending bills. So is the member in order to insinuate that the government has not accepted liability, whereas it is in record? It was brought before the House, it was in the budget, we approved the budget, and the member substantiate or withdraw the statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mjulishaji, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kujulisha bunge ya kwamba wakati tuliingia hapa tulikuwa na pesa ya pending bills milioni 774, 774 million. Hiyo pesa iko na tumeuliza mpaka sasa na hatujawahi pewa. Ningependa kujulisha rafiki yangu kwamba tumengoja hiyo pesa hatujaona mpaka leo. Mheshimiwa Mengeja ako sawa?
Honorable Mengeji, you could only address that specific query only before other members can budge in.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the honorable member from Jamasa Chemelil that we will not be here if the government had honored its pending bills. We will not be here. The reason why we are threatened with withholding funds from the CRA and conditional grants is because the government has not honored. Honorable Speaker, a few days ago, I received a message from a former colleague, the university. He was crying that the government of Nandi owes him 5 million for supplies he made early in March 2018. So he was seeking my help and maybe the help of the county assembly so that he can get his money. I wish to inform the honorable member of Jamasa that the fact that Nandi is among the 15 counties. Why Nandi has been listed among 15 counties is because Nandi, number one, has not been able to form a committee to look into ineligible pending bills. That is the reason why I'm standing here today, so that this government can honor, number one, the task force report. Two, it can honor the report from the county assembly based on legitimate and illegitimate pending bills. Three, it can honor the report from the Auditor General's report on the pending bills, which is very clear. And I have a copy here, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Fred, you can contribute.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Ya kwanza ningependa kushukuru Mheshimiwa Mengechi kwa ile mswada ametuletea hapa leo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu leo tumekuwa na bajeti leo wenye tumepitisha Mheshimiwa Spika. Ile kitu imefanya niunge mswada hii mkono ukurasa wa 4 ya kwamba inasema tumuite akuja atueleze kinakabaga kuhusu ile pending bills Mheshimiwa Spika. Na nimeomba waheshimiwa wengine tuunge mkono hii mswada kwa sababu itatusaidia. Kabla hatujapitisha ile mswada Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima tukua tumejua ni wangapi hawajalipwa, wangapi wamelipwa tangu tukuja hapo Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu hata kwa hii bajeti tuko naye tuliweka mpangilio ya kulipa. Mpaka sasa kwa wadi yangu haijalipwa Mheshimiwa Spika. Ningeona hii mswada ya kwamba akuja atuambie kabla hatujapitisha Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, kila mara tunauliza, tumeita waziri, kila siku tunaita akuji. Sasa sisi hatuna habari. Wakati serikali kuu imesema kwamba tulipe, tunashangaa. Jana nimeuliza waziri mwingine akaniambia hata ya mwaka 2017, 2018